When people are against the Illuminati, then they get punched in the face all the time. The press hates them, and nobody likes them.
You heard the rumor that Barack Obama and Jennifer Aniston had an affair that ended his marriage? People that I respect, some that I even love, who may or may not watch this show.
Was Barack Obama's presidency the ultimate illusion? That's the question blowing up the internet again. Old whispers are roaring back, but this time with heat no one can ignore. And guess who sparked it? None other than Katt Williams.
And that's the thing is, so the Bidens and the Obamas hate each other because Michelle Obama is very good friends with Hunter Biden's ex-wife. So that's led to a significant problem where they don't like Hunter, and if you don't like Hunter, Joe doesn't like you. So I would not be surprised if Holmes is right on with this of like, oh, well, why don't we do this?
It's like, oh man, you give us problems, maybe you can have a problem.
In a now viral set that hit harder than expected, Katt didn't just throw jokes. He peeled back the whole glossy image. While the world clapped for Obama's cool charm and polished speeches, Katt flipped the script completely. He called Obama a white-friendly black man, straight up saying he was more product than president. A clean-cut figure built to make the mainstream feel safe, not a real one who repped the block he came from. That wasn't just comedy, that was a call-out.
I've not been funded. They pay you to not talk about things they don't want you to talk about. They tell you that themselves.
Katt's delivery had people laughing, sure, but the message underneath? It cut deep. Was the Obama we praise just a brand? A symbol wrapped in hope but packaged for control?
I mean, there's, not to add insult to injury, but there's a Daily Mail report out today saying Kamala Harris's marriage may be on the rocks. Like everybody's on the rocks. Again, I will say I love the Daily Mail, but the sourcing appeared weak. It was like people who know the couple, but like, I don't know if it's any better than that. But they're saying she's blaming him in part for her loss because he turned out to be such a hot mess liability. You buy it?
And Katt didn't back off either. He went further, way further. He dropped hints about bigger forces moving behind the curtain. He basically said the whole Obama era was cultural engineering, a setup to keep people in line, not to shake the system. All that hope and change talk, according to Katt, it was just a carefully rehearsed performance to keep folks dreaming and not rebelling.
At all, but if it is true, it truly would be a political earthquake in Democrat circles. Never mind America. I don't remember a presidential divorce in modern history.
Now, years later, those so-called punchlines from Katt Williams don't sound so funny anymore. They're starting to feel like warnings, like clues we all missed while clapping for history, because the aftershocks of Obama's presidency are still shaking things up, and one debate in particular has exploded into chaos. The rise of LGBTQ mentors in schools. Yeah, mentors, not just teachers or lessons. Actual role models chosen because of their identity. And people are asking, what does that really say about the values planted during the Obama years? Critics are out here connecting the dots. And the picture they're painting? It ain't subtle. They've been accusing Obama of quietly pushing what they call a pro-homosexuality agenda. That term alone stirs controversy, but it's one that keeps bouncing around conservative spaces louder than ever. Under his watch, LGBTQ visibility didn't just rise, it exploded.
Gotta spend a minute on the Obamas, because there seems to be some momentum picking up in the rumor mill about their marriage. All right, I'm gonna bring you what I know.
Remember that rainbow-lit White House or those sweeping federal protections? To some, it was overdue justice, but to others, it felt like a hard left turn into uncharted territory. Now fast forward to today. Classrooms are the new battleground. The debate isn't just about teaching diversity, it's about handpicking mentors based on sexual identity. Is that real inclusion? Or a setup that's been in motion for over a decade? Then boom, like throwing gasoline on a live wire, came the interview that still haunts the internet. The wildest street moment of Joan Rivers' entire career.
So the truth about Jen and Barack is that there is no truth.
There is
it
no
is
truth.
Untrue. You know Barack Obama.
I've met him once.
Met him once.
I know Michelle more than him.
What is there a truth about you and Michelle? No.
That is not true.
Just weeks before she went in for a routine throat procedure that took a deadly turn, Joan casually dropped a bomb so bold it made headlines and conspiracy blogs spin out. With a straight face and zero hesitation, she told a reporter, "We already have a homosexual president. You know Michelle is a transgender." Just like that, raw, reckless, and straight to the point. People lost it, and some laughed it off, some were straight up horrified, but a quiet crowd, they leaned in because Joan didn't flinch. She didn't laugh like it was a joke. She didn't backtrack when pushed. When the reporter tried to get her to clarify, she calmly doubled down. A transgender, we all know. We all know? Who exactly was we? And how is she so confident saying that like it was common knowledge?
She is not sorry.
They are looking forward. All the women in your life are looking forward.
All the women in my life are looking forward to being able to, live a more normal life.
Yeah, but still not entirely normal. Obviously, everybody's under the microscope at all times.
A little bit more.
And you're staying in Washington, D.C., which is unusual for an exiting president.
Now, let's be real. Joan was the queen of saying what others wouldn't dare. She made a career off crossing lines and burning bridges. She got banned from more networks than most comics ever get on. But this was next level. This wasn't about red carpet disasters or nose jobs gone wrong. This was a full-on attack aimed straight at the core of the Obamas' public image. And then, just like that, less than 2 months after that explosive interview, Joan Rivers was gone. Not from some long illness, not from anything people saw coming. She died during what was supposed to be a routine throat procedure.
For instance, this is a magazine that came out a couple of weeks ago, In Touch, said the truth about Jen and Barack. Now, that is,
that was, of all the calls you get from your...
But what actually happened inside that clinic? That's where things get real dark. Later investigations revealed her oxygen levels dropped fast. Her vitals were crashing. And for way too long, nobody did a thing. Now, was that just tragic negligence? That's one theory. But the internet, it ran wild with another. Conspiracy sleuths were quick to call it what they believed it really was, and an assassination by neglect. They claimed Joan opened her mouth and said something she was never supposed to say, and someone powerful made sure she'd never speak on it again.
She's doing great in the school she currently attends, and our attitude is that if you have a teenager and you really want to make sure that they never talk to you again, then pull them out of high school right in the middle.
Yeah, you're right.
Of sophomore year. So, look, they've made so many sacrifices.
They have, and they didn't get to decide that.
Exactly. So I want to make sure that they get...
What made things even weirder? The procedure she went in for was reportedly unauthorized. The clinic eventually admitted fault and paid up in a malpractice settlement to Joan's daughter, Melissa Rivers. But for some, that wasn't closure. That was a cover-up. Now, to be clear, the Obamas were never tied to her death. Not publicly, not legally, not officially.
And for me, going high is not losing the urgency or the passion or the rage, especially when you are justified in it. Going high means finding the purpose in your rage. Rage without reason, without a plan, without direction is just more rage.
President Obama even sent Melissa a handwritten letter calling Joan brilliant and funny. A graceful move on the surface, but here's the question that keeps haunting people online. If the claims were total nonsense, why respond at all? Some say it was just good manners. Others say it screamed one thing: damage control.
Look at that and go,
no, it is not.
No?
Yeah, no, it's not. I mean, the thing about what I learned in those 8 years is that home is where we make it. And we were in the White House for 8 years, but it wasn't the house. It was us in it. It was our values and our love for each other. And we just moved that to another house. So.
And let's not act like Joan Rivers was the only one stirring the pot, because guess who popped back up out of nowhere? Larry Sinclair? Yeah, that Larry. A convicted con man with a reputation for wild stories and zero courtroom credibility, but his old claims just won't die. Sinclair's resurfaced interview sent shockwaves again, this time with a little help from none other than Tucker Carlson. Suddenly, the internet was buzzing about a wild night back in the late 90s. Sinclair claimed he met Obama at a bar, shared some white powder that rhymes with cane, and ended up in a hotel room, saying it wasn't just a political conversation, if you catch the drift. Now, is he credible? Not legally, not officially, but in the court of public opinion, the timing had people suspicious. Why now? Why again? And why was Tucker giving him the mic?
Of a marriage on the rocks. The question now isn't if, but when. If I had to guess, they will wait until after the inauguration to announce it. Timing, is everything. And yet the story doesn't end there. For months, I've heard Jennifer Aniston's name tied to Barack. At first, it seemed ridiculous, but the rumors have remained steady among New York.
Online threads lit up, and Joan Rivers' old comments, they started sounding different to folks. Like maybe she wasn't just throwing shade, maybe she knew something. Whether you believe Sinclair or think he's just chasing attention, one thing's crystal clear: the smoke hasn't cleared, and that's exactly what keeps the heat turned up. Because this conversation isn't just about who Obama was behind closed doors. It's about what kind of culture got left in his wake. This whole LGBTQ mentorship debate, that didn't come out of thin air. It's been slow brewing for years. So ask yourself, was this the hope and change everybody clapped for? Or was it the fine print nobody bothered to read? Then came the whispers, the kind that start deep in the comment sections and end up blasted across talk radio. Whispers that Barack and Michelle, they're not really together anymore. That behind all the power couple smiles, they've been living separate lives for years. Michelle skipped Trump's inauguration. Then she missed Jimmy Carter's funeral. And folks say it wasn't about politics, it was because she just couldn't keep up the act anymore. But here's where it gets crazy. What happens when the rumor mill starts connecting the dots? When Joan Rivers' final interview stops feeling like a joke and starts looking like a straight-up confession? People online aren't asking if the Obamas are hiding something anymore. They're asking how deep it goes, because the internet's latest obsession, it ain't just Joan's words, it's the way she said them. Joan didn't smirk, she didn't wink, she wasn't looking for laughs, she just said it. Plain, cold, and bold. "It's okay," she told the reporter. "It's not a bad thing." Then she turned and walked away. No punchline, just silence, and now, people are questioning everything. Could Joan's sudden death, just weeks after she made that explosive statement, really be just a medical accident? Or was it something else entirely? Something darker? Because if that joke was never meant to be funny, maybe it was never a joke at all. Maybe it was a warning we all missed. But things got way weirder once people started digging into the actual details of Joan Rivers' final hours. And what they found raised a lot of eyebrows. Federal health officials revealed that the clinic she went to wasn't just sloppy, it was flat out unprepared for even basic complications. Protocols were skipped, rules were bent, and it doesn't stop there. The anesthetic dose Joan received, reportedly way higher than it should have been. Her vitals dropped for several minutes before anyone stepped in. And here's the part that really sets off alarm bells. They started a procedure she never even signed off on. No written consent, nothing. This wasn't some no-name patient in a back alley office. This was Joan Rivers, one of the most iconic, recognizable women in the country, lying unconscious in a high-profile New York City clinic. And somehow every red flag got ignored. Make it make sense. Now sure, some say maybe it's just a tragic case of medical failure, but others, they're looking at the timing, and they're not buying the coincidence angle, because Joan didn't just vanish quietly. She vanished weeks after calling out the most powerful political couple in the game. So now we gotta ask, did her mouth cost her more than just media backlash and even scarier? What else was she about to reveal before they cut her mic for good? She had already said it, on camera, loud and clear, called Obama our first homosexual president, declared Michelle was a transgender, not maybe, not rumored, we all know. And then, silence, permanent silence. But the questions never left the room. Who let an unlicensed doctor take selfies with Joan Rivers while she was unconscious on the table? Why did the surveillance footage from inside the clinic just vanish during the investigation? And how does a routine outpatient visit, something thousands of people do every day, spiral into a deadly disaster with zero criminal accountability? Let's be real. This ain't just about Joan anymore. This whole rabbit hole, it goes way deeper, straight into the glowing heart of Hollywood. Because if Obama wasn't just a political figure, if he was more like a cultural architect, then maybe the real stage wasn't just the White House. Maybe it was the entertainment industry. Think about it. Over the years, we've watched TV and film do a complete 180. Storylines that used to be niche, suddenly front and center. What used to be optional became mandatory. Inclusion didn't just show up, it took over. And yeah, it was dressed up pretty, glitter, rainbows, and feel-good slogans. But now even some Hollywood insiders are quietly asking, was all this just a natural shift, or was it a masterclass in cultural choreography? And the name that keeps rising to the surface in all these whispers, Jennifer Aniston, yeah, that name came out of nowhere. Let's be real, nobody saw that pairing coming. And yet, the headlines started popping up everywhere. Check out aisle tabloids, gossip blogs, late-night talk shows, all hinting that Barack Obama and Jennifer Aniston might have been sharing more than just Netflix logins. Aniston shut it down quick. On Jimmy Kimmel, she called the rumor absolutely untrue, said she's only met Barack once and knows Michelle better. It was clean, polished, and delivered with that classic Aniston poise. But even with that statement on record, the rumors didn't die. If anything, they morphed into something bigger. Not about romance, but strategy. Because here's the thing, Barack Obama's post-presidency has been anything but quiet. Through Higher Ground Productions, his media company, he's inked massive deals with streaming giants, launched documentaries, and placed himself right in the center of the entertainment machine. And Jennifer, with her Apple TV hits and that America's sweetheart image still intact, she's the perfect media ally, trusted, beloved, influential. So maybe this isn't about secret dates or love triangles at all. Maybe it's about power moves. Two of the most carefully curated public figures, one from politics, one from Hollywood, subtly shaping what we watch, what we value, and what we believe. When it comes to public trust, Barack Obama and Jennifer Aniston are like pure gold, untouchable. And in today's world, where narratives shape not just opinions, but votes, values, and identities, who better to deliver the message than Hollywood's most polished insiders? Now here's where it starts making people real uncomfortable. Because if Obama's time in the White House was just Act 1, then the entertainment industry, that might be Act 2. No more politics through policy, now it's persuasion through storytelling, subtle, slick, and everywhere. We've got a generation raised on Netflix, Hulu, and hours of binge-worthy shows. And most don't even realize how often political messages are baked right into their favorite content. So was it just a coincidence that progressive narratives suddenly took over primetime right as Obama stepped off the political stage and stepped straight into the media game? Or was that the rollout all along? Some industry vets, quietly off the record, have hinted that Obama's Hollywood reach runs deep. We're talking about casting influence, storyline direction, even behind-the-scenes green lights. A so-called cultural alliance, a tight-knit circle of A-listers, producers, and showrunners who all move with the same mission. Whether that mission is authentic or something more orchestrated, that's where the water gets murky. But even the casual viewer is starting to notice something weird. Shows with heavy social messaging, they get the red carpet treatment every time. Fast-tracked awards, viral press, glowing reviews. And if the man pulling the strings just happens to be a former president with a Netflix deal, a production company, and global influence, let's not act surprised. Soft power has always been the slickest way to shape hard reality. Meanwhile, the whispers keep evolving. Talk of divorce, political disagreements, and more public appearances where Michelle Obama is noticeably absent. The timing, sketchy. She skipped Trump's inauguration, then Carter's funeral, and folks are noticing not just the no-shows, but the subtle body language in the rare moments they do appear together. Then came the podcast bombshell. Not some random blog, but actual Washington insiders. They casually claim Barack and Michelle are living completely separate lives now. That alone made headlines, because when it's not just Twitter trolls or anonymous Reddit users, but connected DC reporters dropping that info, people pay attention. And just as all this heat was reaching a boiling point, another familiar name slid back into the headlines, Larry Sinclair. Yeah, the same guy mainstream media dismissed years ago as unreliable, unstable, and full of it. But suddenly, he's back, this time with help from alt media platforms and one massive interview with a political commentator who gave him the mic and the spotlight. Sinclair's claim that he and Barack Obama shared a wild, drug-fueled encounter in a limousine on a cold Chicago night in 1999. Long before anyone outside Illinois knew who Barack even was. The story? Graphic, lurid, shockingly specific. And yeah, Larry Sinclair's credibility was ripped to shreds the first time around. But the timing of his comeback now? Way too suspicious to ignore? What makes this twist hit so hard isn't just the wild claims Sinclair made, and it's the deeper idea his story points to. That there might be entire chapters of Obama's life that have been scrubbed, edited, or locked away completely. When Sinclair first went public, the media wasted no time dragging him. Headlines called him a convicted con man. He even failed a live polygraph test at a press conference. But here's the strange part. Coverage ended right there. No follow-ups, no real investigations, no reporters digging deeper. The whole thing was shut down almost instantly. And that's what got people talking again, because maybe it wasn't just about dismissing a lie. Maybe it was about erasing a problem, and fast. Whether Sinclair was telling the truth or not almost didn't matter. The story itself was seen as too risky, too messy, too disruptive to the legacy of America's first black president. And that's the real Pandora's box here, because if even one detail in Sinclair's story checks out, if any part of Obama's early life was quietly swept under the rug to protect a polished image, then the question isn't whether we were lied to. So the real question becomes, how much haven't we been told? In a world where every celebrity slip-up goes viral in minutes, how did someone as globally visible as Barack Obama manage to sidestep a story like this for over a decade? Whether Larry Sinclair is just a fabricator chasing relevance or a whistleblower lost in the noise, his story taps into something deeper. The uneasy feeling that we're not just watching a tightly managed political brand, but living inside a narrative where the most important chapters were never printed. And just when the noise dies down, it kicks right back up. This time, Meghan McCain stirred the pot. The daughter of the late Senator John McCain and then a woman raised in DC drama, said on air that she's personally heard divorce rumors about the Obamas, not from tabloids or social media, but from serious, connected journalists. Then the internet started buzzing again. Right-wing influencers resurfaced old claims that Jennifer Aniston had been quietly spotted at private Obama events. Off the radar, no cameras, no press. And suddenly, it didn't sound like gossip anymore. It felt like the kind of story no one wants to confirm, but too many refuse to ignore. And here's what makes it all stick. For every denial, a new breadcrumb drops, a weird photo, a missing event, a cold stare caught on camera, just enough to keep people watching. Because let's be real, America loves a power couple. But it loves a scandal even more. And when that couple built their image on unity, loyalty, and transparency, even the whiff of betrayal feels like a national heartbreak. But maybe this was never just about divorce rumors, missing appearances, or who's getting cozy in some filtered Instagram post. Maybe the real story out is about power. The kind you can't vote out, the kind that doesn't need a title, an office, or a campaign trail. The kind that lives in your feed, streams through your favorite shows, and slips quietly into your everyday life without you even noticing. Yeah. Because what if Barack Obama's greatest legacy wasn't the speeches, or the policies, or even the 8 historic years in the White House? What if his real legacy is influence? The type that moves silently behind the screen, shaping how we think, how we vote, how we live. Think about it. His presidency may be long over, but the ripple effects, they're everywhere. From streaming platforms to celebrity circles, from progressive scripts to cultural trends, it's all connected. So now the question ain't just about what happened back then. It's about what's still happening now. Are we finally ready to face the truth behind the brand? Or are we just now beginning to peel back the first layer of a carefully crafted illusion? Let us know what you think. Is this all just smoke, or are the signs too loud to ignore? Drop your theories in the comments, hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and don't forget to subscribe. And because the next twist is coming faster than you think. See you on the next one.